Everyone, welcome to the Peepo Coin channel. For those who are unfamiliar with the channel, I hope you will subscribe by the end of this video. So, going back a little bit in time, I just want to go back to October because that's when we really started to see the big announcements from the Ripple side start to come out, and a lot of them did have to do with custody. Many individuals now believe that Ripple custody has nothing to do with XRP or cryptocurrency in general, and that everything is fine. And they will, that. That's essentially it. Custody digital assets or tokenized items of value on this platform. However, the issue here is that many individuals are genuinely ignoring the significance of custody. As I mentioned earlier, this was one of the first significant statements we saw in October. And this was with Grante, their new client, who is actually from BBVA. And since this was a new customer added to Ripple's custody, it was a significant move. This also applied to IBM. When we consider custody, it's the key to everything in the room. The first component of the puzzle is custody, whether we consider tokenization, institutional DeFi, or any other situation. However, Deca Bank was added to the list even more recently because they were providing cryptocurrency trading and custody services to organizations that were based on Ripple custody. Once further, we may observe that every service provided by Deca Bank, for instance, relates to one thing: Ripple custody. Furthermore, a marketing campaign for Ripple custody was released even more recently, emphasizing the $1.4 billion lost in the Bybit security incident. They naturally sought to offer some insight into how custodians may satisfy the needs of institutional crypto custody. This dates back to the month's start. Once more, they discussed institutional adoption, its acceleration, and how clients are seeking more than safekeeping even in this context. They anticipate an advanced bank rate infrastructure that strikes a balance between strong regulatory compliance and smooth 24/7 usability. And that's because custody isn't the only issue, isn't it? The much larger image here will be supported by this. We really examined this in support of new use cases at that point. For institutional retail investors, this includes the issue and custody of tokenized securities, as well as RWAs, or cryptocurrency custody and trading wallets. For improved service distribution, we also examine the compliance controls as a sub-custodian on a global custodians network. I genuinely anticipate that many of these banks will do this, and Deca Bank is essentially doing this as a sub-custodian. Easy access to platforms for lending and staking as well as exchanges for liquidity providers. And because the loan platform is moving to the XRP ledger, that's where we really take a look at it as well. Now, why am I bringing up all of this old news outside of this post? The reason for this is because Ripple is now beginning to make some even more significant moves, which we shall discuss in a moment. I want to show you two videos first, though. The first comes from the initial announcement of Zodiac Custody and Ripple. Two outstanding ideas: Zodiac Custody, Ripple. Ripple Swell 2023 was the source of this. It seems like ages ago, but when we consider this, we have two things to consider. First, blockchain is here to stay, and second, custody is the first step in the process. Once custody is properly established, we can develop intriguing solutions. And by this, I mean that everyone in this area, even the XRP community, is oblivious to the true magnitude of Ripple custody. They believe that to be just another gaudy thing that Ripple is selling, to promote the news or to promote this, that, or anything else. However, all of these pillars are essential to laying the groundwork for the tokenized and digital economy. Take a look at this video. I am Julian Soham, Zodiac Custody's CEO. For years ago, Standard Chartered Ventures founded us as an independent custodian. SBI, Northern Trust, and our shareholders are also involved. The intriguing question, in my opinion, is why, despite being a Standard Chartered subsidiary, we were founded outside the bank. We are quite familiar with the story of oil tankers and speed boats, I believe. However, I believe that there are actually two underlying beliefs. The first is that blockchain is here to stay, and the second is that custody is where it all begins, as Adrian stated in his introductory remarks. Additionally, we can come up with intriguing solutions if you gain custody of your valuables in a safe and secure location. And yes, this is precisely the reason I keep my attention on events pertaining to Ripple custody or any of these custodians in this area, as here is where it all starts. Naturally, Casey Craddock, the managing director of Ripple, also provided us with some excellent insight from this. Tier 1 institutions are a strong fit for our product market from a custody standpoint. This is a huge thank you to subjective use. Take a look. Naturally, the majority of our clients are financial institutions. Therefore, from a custody standpoint, our product market fit and customs are very similar to those of your Tier 1 bank. Our custody platform is utilized by our partners, such as HSBC. However, we do observe a different audience set, For instance, we are on the Ripple X side. Ripple is this institutional DeFi technique, but we are aware that this type of convergence is rather more universal. Therefore, we're leaning towards supporting extremely intriguing businesses in that market from a Ripple X standpoint, which is primarily focused on advancing the developer environment around the XRP ledger. Additionally, there are some incredibly intriguing early-stage businesses developing on the XRP ledger for use cases like loan payments. Naturally, we hear about the clients that Ripple serves all the time, and they are always the major players, don't we? Similar to the major Tier 1 banks. They already have partnerships with some very powerful companies, such as Bank of America. Another absolute powerhouse is HSBC. After that, you incorporate Standard Chartered. Do you include all of these other players that they are currently collaborating with? I've always described Ripple as a major institutional behemoth that essentially plays the role of an infrastructure player. You have to consider Ripple Swell after all. In essence, the first Ripple Swell was a banking conference hosted by a blockchain-based business. Why is that? Why was Ripple the only significant competitor in this market with the ability to achieve that? You wonder because it makes you ponder. Then, however, there was this significant statement. A big thank you to Ripple President Monica Long. According to her, South Korea is preparing for a surge in institutional cryptocurrency usage. I'm thrilled that Ripple Custody will lay another flag for XRP and roust an APAC with BTC South Korea. It is impossible to overestimate the significance of safe institutional-grade custody technology, particularly as businesses get ready for a surge in interest in cryptocurrencies. Indeed, we recently saw Ripple post about the XRP ledger and the future of finance being on-chain. Its totally open-source technology is designed for the upcoming generation of institutional finance. This was done in order to scale institutional DeFi. It requires trovable infrastructure that is ready for compliance. With all of these extra features, XRP Ledger excels. This is when the whole picture is coming together, guys. Today, however, we are expanding institutional crypto custody in South Korea by collaborating with BDX. In order to facilitate institutional adoption, the expansion of XRP Ledger developers, and Korea's changing regulatory environment, they will use Ripple Custody to offer safe infrastructure for XRP, Rust, and other cryptocurrency assets. A significant step forward for the region's on-chain economy. We saw 3 breakdowns as we came over here, Isn't that what matters most? We now have Ripple, the top supplier of digital asset infrastructure for financial institutions, and BDX, a prominent digital asset institutional custody company in Korea.